If you're in the high school class of 2025, you may have heard the rumors that SATs and ACTs are now back to being required at top schools. Is this true? Do you need to take a test again? Here are the answers. So not all schools are going back to requiring tests. That's the big news. Only actually a few of them are. So you may have heard the names of Yale and Dartmouth and Georgetown and Purdue and MIT. There's a bunch more, but in the grand scheme of things, actually, most are still test optional if that is for the class of 2025. Now, we are hearing that, of course, as more of these schools go test required, the trend, I'm sure, will continue. So if you're in the class of 2026 or anything later than that, always keep an eye out. Policies always change, but we know for sure that if you are a junior in high school this year, then look at the school. If that's their policy, that's staying the same for when you apply to college. Also, make sure you read the fine print, because a lot of these schools that are saying that they're going back to test required, I will say Yale, for instance, is actually more like test flexible, because if you don't want to submit an SAT or ACT and you have an AP score or an IB score, that'll work just fine too. So always make sure that you know, okay, what do they actually require? What is actually going to help you? And then push in and submit the score that's going to give you the best value and make you look the best to any of these schools. If you were considering a school that was test optional before COVID and all of the craziness and everybody going test optional, if it was test optional before, it's probably going to stay test optional for a while, so you have nothing to worry about. If it was always really high on test scores, like Georgetown always was. So it's no surprise that they're going back to that old policy of wanting the test score. And in fact, they want every test score that you've taken. Even if you've taken multiple attempts, they want to see it all. This is a really big reason why looking at your college list is so important, and building that out with intention in the beginning. If you know that a test score is going to serve you and be a great part of your application, then look at those schools that want the test score. That's going to be a huge boost to you. If the test score is not going to be that great and you are miserable taking a standardized test, then again, look at the schools that don't care about that, won't need it, and you'll be a great applicant with or without that. Things are always changing in the college admissions landscape, so of course any of this information could change tomorrow, but we see that class of 2025, you're pretty much set. Those requirements are in stone for you, unless of course there's a pandemic or something. That's the disclaimer. But otherwise, always look at what your school is requiring. Sign up for their newsletters so that if they do make any changes in policy, you are the first to know. So leave me a comment below. Tell me, what do you think of all of these changing and ever-changing test optional, test required policies? Should all schools have the same policy? Should it vary by schools? What do you think? Let me know.